Hello everyone, welcome to Jolly Molly TV. Today we have a really fun festive holiday project. We're going to work on a Santa Claus doily by Embroidery Library. And this is just a couple examples of options that we're going to be playing with today. So the first one is a solid color one. Right here is an all red one. The design on Embroidery Library, they showcase it in all white, which is also gorgeous. And then I'm going to teach you a little trick in this class where we're going to make it a two-color. So you can see we've got red in the center, white on the outside, so you can kind of see how it looks with different color backgrounds. So the red will be in the middle, the white will be on the outside. Here it is again with red behind it. You can choose any color combination that you want, but I will show you a trick in this video to make it a two-color project instead of a solid. So you have a couple options on what you want to do. So let's go to the table, and I'm going to show you just a few supplies that you're going to need in order to make this project. I am super excited to make this block. So let's just go over briefly the few supplies that you're going to need in order to make this Santa doily. First thing you're going to need is a piece of organza. I'm using white organza for this project. You can use any color of your choice. It's real sparkly and pretty. You need a piece of wash away stabilizer. This is not a topper. This is a stabilizer for the bottom. So you can use the woven type if you like. I use the Kimberbell brand wash away stabilizer. It comes in two different sizes. So I'm using my larger hoop for this project. I'm using my 8 by 12 inch hoop. So I needed the 20-inch roll of the stabilizer in order to have enough to extend outside the top and the bottom of my hoop. Okay. So you need one piece of the organza and just one of the stabilizer for this project. So when we hoop it, you'll take your hoop, whichever size fits best with your machine, and we're going to lay the wash away stabilizer down first, making sure it fits on all sides. Then I'm going to take the pretty organza and I'm going to lay that down on top. Right there, and it just fits. I cut it a little short, but it'll still work. And then down on this side, it's just going to be a hair close on the sides, but that's okay. It will still work. See, I'll still have edges around each side. Let me put a little bit more at the top. There we go. And then we're going to hoop it very gently. Tighten it a little bit, and then I want you to go around the outside edge and just pull gently. I don't want you to pull massively so that you're stretching out the organza. I just want to get any massive wrinkles that are out, but not too tight so it doesn't pucker. And then you're going to hoop it very, very tightly. There we go. A hoop is too big for the screen. I'm going to hoop it very tightly. All right, as tight as you can get it so that the inside is nice and smooth, but like a drum. Okay, so that's what we need there. The organza, the wash away stabilizer, and the hoop. Now, your size of your hoop is going to be dependent upon the size of your design that you're going to get. And we're going to go over that just before we go to the machine. I'll take you to the computer and I'll show you the sizes that are available. I'm doing the largest size, so that's why I needed my 8 by 12 hoop. Okay. Really, the only other things you're going to need are some regular fabric scissors that you use for cutting that we're going to use to trim up the block when we're done. Your embroidery scissors for cutting your thread. You're going to need an iron for the last stage when we just press out the block. And then most importantly, you're going to need your thread color of choice for your doily. Now this one I went totally off the wall and I did all red, and I think it came out beautiful. So what you're going to need is you're going to need your color thread of choice for the top of your machine, and as well and a bobbin full of the same color thread for the back, because you want the top and the bottom to match. You don't want to really have any differences on it. And so you don't want to use white bobbin in the thread if you're going to use a color up on top. This one I still have to press out. But choose whichever color you would like for your doily for the top and the bottom. Now, if you saw the teaser in the photo, my block that I'm going to be showing you is going to be 2 colors. It's going to be red in the middle for the Santa, and it's going to be white on the outside. I think it's going to be beautiful. So I'll show you how to do the color changes, no problem. But in that case, you would need a red or your color of choice for the middle, and then your color of choice again for the outside. So you would need 2 different colors of thread and a bobbin of each color so your back matches. Okay. All right. So that's really all the supplies we need for this project. So let's go ahead and let's go to the computer, and I'm going to show you quickly the design and the sizes that you can choose from. So we're going to go to the Embroidery Library website, which is Library, library.com, and there'll be a link in the description below. And I'm just going to do a search. Actually, let's just do a search on doily so you can see all the other designs that are out there as well. So once the searches come up, the one that we're working on in this class is the very first one. It's called Christmas Cheer Santa Doily on organza. So let's click on that one. This is so pretty. And they do a solid color, all white, which is gorgeous. And there's 3 different sizes. The one that I am showing you in this class is the large one. It's a 6.88 by 9.79. But you can pick whichever size you want, depending on which size hoop that you're able to do. This is a 5.47 by 7.78. So it won't quite fit in a 5 by 7 hoop, but this one will. So a 4.82 by 6.85 will fit in a 5 by 7 hoop. This middle size, you would need at least an 8-inch hoop. And this large one would have to be an 8 by 12. So you can pick which design you like, purchase it, and download it to your USB drive to be able to add to your machine. If you need to know how to do that, there's a video, which I'll also put in the description below, that I show you how to download a file to a USB flash drive. So this is the Christmas Cheer Santa Doily. So now let's go ahead and grab our supplies I showed you earlier. Grab your flash drive with this design file on it, and let's head over to the embroidery machine and let's get started. Okay, we're at the machine and I'm excited to start stitching this project. What I've done is I have my large hoop, which is an 8 by 12 inch hoop, because I'm going to be doing the large design for this Santa Doily. I have 1 layer of organza hooped, and I have 1 layer of the wash away stabilizer hooped, and I put a full bobbin down below of red thread. And you're like, red? Yes, I'm going to do the center of this doily in red. So I would like the bottom bobbin thread to match my top thread. So I've chosen kind of a ruby red thread to go with this that kind of matches the color of my organza. I've put a full bobbin of that down below, and I've also put it up on top so they will match. You want the bottom to look as nice as the top, and then in the same color. Okay, so let's go to the screen and let's load the design. So in case you're wondering, I have a Brother Dream machine if you'd like to follow along, and you want to load your design on your machine. So I keep mine on the flash drive. I created a new folder called Doilies, and here is the Santa. And if you notice, it's going to come in sideways. And my machine, it goes, oops, you can't use that, rotate, and there's a button down here for a 90-degree rotate. I click that, it rotates it in so it's in the right direction of my hoop, because my hoop goes this way, 8 by 12. So that's all we have to do. It's a 9.79 inch by 6.88 inch, because I picked the largest. 27,000 stitches, it's not that bad, 47 minutes. Let's click set. We don't have to change or move anything, and we click set. And this is going to be normally a solid color embroidery, but I'm going to show you a trick on this one where I'm going to do the center Santa in red thread, and I'm going to show you exactly where to stop it around stitch number 13,600 and so ish. We're going to stop it, and then I'm going to try to catch it and then switch it to white for the outside. So let's see if we can do that. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the hoop cam, and since we have everything hooped, our organza one piece of our wash away stabilizer, we have red bobbin thread down below, red thread on top. We're just going to stitch this out, and it's a 47-minute stitch out. I'm going to fast forward through this, but I'm going to stop somewhere around 13,000, and then I'll walk you through how to exactly pinpoint where it switches from stitching the Santa to stitching the outside, and then I'm going to switch threads to white. All right, so let's stitch out the red section, and again I will come back and grab you at around 13,600 stitches. Here we go. Okay, I stopped it because right now we're at about 13,000 stitches, and I want to walk through slowly how we're going to get to the rest of the stage. The machine has a little bit more of the accent folds to do on this, and then it's going to go up and down and all the way up, and when it gets over to that side, then that's where we're going to stop and switch it. But it still has to do the border edge, so we're going to just proceed slowly. So right now we're at 13,000 stitches. So now it's going to start to do the border down to the bottom. And then it's going to do the border all the way up. So we're at 13,200 stitches now. It still has to come down and do that. So we're not quite ready yet. Almost. The machine will not stop on its own when it automatically starts to go out to do the filigree. So in order to do a two-tone, this is what we have to do. Okay. So I'm going to watch it very closely now. I'm going to stop it right now. We're at 13,548 stitches. We're getting close. And now we go back up. We're doing another accent line. And let's see. We're at 13,652. I'm going to let it go one, slow. It's still on the edge. I'm going to stop it and just let it take a couple stitches at a time. Stop. Okay, so 13,665 because I'm out just a little bit, so I'm going to cut off my thread. Okay, and this is what you do if you haven't caught it exactly, because I've got like 3 stitches where it started to go out. Okay, so at this point, if you see here, it's now going to go out and do the filigree. So I'm going to get my seam ripper, and I'm just going to very gently take out 1, 2, 3 stitches. Okay, let me trim. See where I'm at. Okay, Okay. And one other little one. Come on the back side. Okay, perfect. All right, so now got those 3 red stitches out, so there's nothing on that side. And that's what happens if you overshoot it a little bit. That's okay. You just take out those few stitches. Like I said, approximately 13,665 stitches is where it moves to the next color. So I'm going to take out the red. I'm going to use one of my half bobbins. I think I have enough. I'll give it a chance here of white. Okay. So gently put it back on. And now I'm going to put white thread. Oops. White thread up on the top of the machine. Mind you, if you're doing a solid color, you don't have to do this step. But I wanted to make it a two-tone, and because it doesn't stop in between colors, because it's a one-color stitch out, I'm making it into a two-color stitch out. Oops. If I could thread my machine. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to go to the screen because I need to back up. Oops, there we go. Just a couple stitches. So I have a plus or minus needle stitch button on my machine, and I'm going to go back 1, 2, 3, right there. Nope, 4, 3. Okay, so back to the hoop cam. Now, one of the questions you're probably asking is, well, it's not actually going to do its regular tie off. No, it's not. It's going to start stitching from this point on, but it's going to come back because of the nature of the stitches that it's doing. It's going to come back and make it a thicker multiple pass. So it will lock itself in with the 1 or 2 extra passes it comes back, like it's been doing all these stitches that are raised. It's going to do the same thing. So I'm not worried about having a raveling thread because it will lock itself in. All right, so then I put my foot down, and if I want to test where I'm going to be, I can put my needle down, okay? And I can actually see I'm 1 stitch away. So put my needle back up, and I'm going to go back to this machine. I'm actually going to go back 2. Right. I can put my needle down, and I can see where it's going to take its first stitch. So that's where I want to be, and I go back 1 because it forwarded 1. So now I'm right where I want to be. So you can use that technique, putting that needle down and seeing where it is, and then go back that stitch, and you'll start at the right spot. Now, we're going to stop it again when it gets done with the white because they forgot the red eyeball, but they're going to do it at the end. So when the machine gets done with all the white, it's going to tie off the thread and then move to his eye, and you stop the machine, and then we'll switch the thread back to red, okay? But let's go ahead and stitch out all the white filigree. Just be prepared to stop the machine again when you see it going for his right eyeball, okay? Here we go. Oh, that is so pretty. Okay, we're not done yet, but I stopped the machine right before it's going to stitch his eye. Okay, so we need to switch the bobbin thread and the thread up on top back to red. Okay, so we're going to take out the white, put a red back in. Doesn't have to have much on it. It's only doing his little eye. Okay, so the bobbin switched out, gently put it back on the machine, the hoop that is. Take the white thread out. And I have my red thread on a thread stand back behind my machine. So I'm going to grab that and put red thread back on the top of your machine. There we go. All right, and let's stitch out his eye. Put down and let's go. Now we are done. You know, this is really gorgeous. The white is very hard to see on the camera, but it is just gorgeous. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? It is really hard to see, but it's stunning. All right, so let's go ahead and take the hoop with this block over to the table and let's finish it up. I just love how this turned out. This is so pretty. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to rough cut this. So take your fabric scissors, and I want you to rough cut, not too close to the design, but I just want you to rough cut all the way around to get the bulk of the organza and the wash away stabilizer off and make it a little bit easier to do the trimming. Okay, and mind you, the stabilizer is still on the back. We have not washed it off or done anything at this point. It actually makes it a little bit more sturdy to deal with when you're doing this cutting that we're going to do here in a second. So I leave the stabilizer on at this point. Okay. All right, I've done a rough cut. Get that out of the way. All right. So now your design looks like this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to gently go with each curve around and we're going to cut. And I leave about 1/4 of an inch. It gives a nice looking edge. If you look on this one, it gives a nice looking edge having about 1/4 of an inch on the outside. But go with the curve. Okay. So go with the curve. So let's start here. Again, leave about 1/4 of an inch. Don't go too far in when it goes into the loops. Just kind of go with it and give it a very gentle cut. Don't get too close. Like so. It's hard to see, but that's what I'm doing. I'm just going and I'm following the edge of the design all the way around. Okay, so let's fast forward and let's do that. And that way too, I'm not going right up against the stitches. I've got myself a little cushion so I don't accidentally cut into the stitching on the side. Isn't that beautiful? I love the two-tone color. Absolutely love it. Solid is beautiful too, but I love that two-tone color. Just love it. Okay, so now the next step in order to finish it up so it looks like this is we're going to soak it and allow the wash away stabilizer to dissolve. So get a container and let me show you what I use so we can soak the stabilizer. So I have a pie pan that is actually from one of Costco's pumpkin pies. I use this as my soak pan because it's a large pie tin. It's not your regular like 12-inch. This is the large type of pie tin. So these blocks fit very nicely when you go to soak them. And then that way it's not something that we're normally cooking. It's a very nice size. So all we're going to do is we're going to put the block in, and you can put it face down. We're going to soak it, and I will actually lay it in there, get it all nice and wet, and I leave it in here for an hour. Follow the instructions on your package of wash away stabilizer, and I actually leave mine in for about an hour because that way it comes out nice and soaked, and you want all of the wash away stabilizer gone on this one. You don't want to leave anything in because you want it to be flexible and pliable and have a nice feel when we put it down. Once it's all done and dried, we'll iron it out to get any of the little curls that happen on the edge there. Just leave it in there for as long as your brand of wash away stabilizer recommends. Do not pour this water down your sink because it's got the water soluble stabilizer in it and it will clog up your sink. So dispose of the water that's in your pan in another fashion, but do not put it down your sink. We don't want anything to get clogged up. So once it is soaked and you can pick it up and see that all of the stabilizer is gone, you're going to want to take it out of the pan and you're going to want to put it on a towel and let it dry overnight. Okay, you put it on a towel, let it dry, and then we'll come back here at the next step and I'll show you how to press it. Okay, now that everything is nice and dry, there's only one thing left to do, and that's to gently press it to get out all of these wrinkles and kind of creases that it's developed when it was drying. So I want to put it on my pressing station here, face down. You want to use a pressing sheet of some sort, whether it's a towel or it's a pressing sheet on top, because organza will melt if it's exposed to high enough of a temperature. Now, normally I would use my iron on low, but because this is a little bit thicker of a pressing sheet, I'm going to use medium, but I'm not going to stay on it very long. I'm going to try to hit the corner, come over gently, hit the corner, come back over, hit the next corner, and come back over and hit that corner. And then I'm going to see what it's done, because you don't want to leave the heat on too long, like I said, because organza will literally just melt. Okay, it needs a little bit more, but I'm going to turn it right side up this time because I want to try to get the corners as flat as I can. The middle's looking pretty good. Let's put it back down and let's make another pass at it. Can stay a little bit longer this time because the organza is holding up nicely. This is a really great pressing sheet, so I don't have to worry too much about the heat getting to the melting point here. Yeah, we're good. All right, so that looks great. Let's run it one more time because I got a little bit of curl still up here on the top side. It's better to have it on a small amount of time than a long amount of time. Let's turn that off. All right, we're looking good. All right, let's get the pressing sheet out of the way here. Isn't that amazing? I love that. Add the red version to our collection here. Let's put that one there. And that one there. It's kind of hard to see on the white and white. I went ahead and I did another stitch out. And this time I did white on the center with the Santa, if you can see him there. And then I did a Christmas green on the outside. So you can kind of see the effect that having white in the middle has a little bit different effect. Of course, you're seeing my hand of red in the middle. Isn't that cool? So you have a white Santa in the middle with emerald green on the outside. How about that for just a different touch, a different take on it? Same technique as we did on this one, stopping at the same point. I just reversed the colors. Again, it's hard to see on white, but those are really, really fun. Well, I hope you enjoyed making this Santa doily as much as I did. And please stay tuned to my channel, Jolly Molly TV, for more fun. All right, until I see you next time, happy stitching. Bye-bye.